You can see this is the centre of the bow. The grain comes up a couple of layers, so there's this slight bulge at the grip. Not a huge amount, but just a slight swelling. We've got the filled knot. You can see this side, there's still a dark ring round there. That's good solid epoxy. That's not going to pinch or crizzle. Well, with a light like this you can see some of the dimples, a nice little bit of character on the back of the bow, and where I leave some bits of cambium. Yeah, I like that because it shows that it's a natural underbark surface. This was interesting, this lump here. It's quite a raised hump, but in actual fact it was a double hump. There was a hump here and then it came out even higher, came up quite high here. But I actually took this outer lump, I've rasped it away, but because there's so much sapwood I don't think it's a problem. So and it would have been ludicrously high and would have made a very stiff edge to the bow here. Now as we move down towards the tip, I don't know if this is going to show up, you can see, oh, I've gone through growth rings. With Osage you want to follow a single ring. With Yew you can take some liberties, but why have I done it? Well, I've done it because if I hadn't I'd have ended up with no heartwood, especially this side. There you can see the nice blend in towards the horn knock. Round cross section near the tip, it gradually comes out back to the natural wood, almost flat back there. In fact it's slightly concave in places. There's that knot we were hoping would fall off. Well, it's not quite fallen off, it's just a nice little feature now. Nice little, this was a tricky undulating area. There's still islands showing here which imply I could take more wood off, but you've got a nice little sort of kink in the grain there. And again, nice taper to a very slim knock. See, there's our classic 1/2 inch knock and we're a little below it, probably about 10mm. Because this one hasn't been buffed up too much, it's still slightly sanded, but you can see how it actually fits on the knock at brace. So you can see here I need to do a little bit of blending in. I wasn't going to bother showing inlaying an arrow pass, but I thought I might as well. Most important thing is to get it in the right place. I've already shot 25 arrows through here and there's a slight wear mark, so I'll put that on there. I'll draw around it with a pencil. I don't know if this is going to focus. I score inside my line, cutting as deep as I can without skidding. Starting at the point, work down. I tend not to cut the back line. If I get the horn inlaid to fit at the point, nice and tight, then I can cut the back line where it needs to go. If you make it too small and tight, you can shape the horn to fit the hole. Then we cut a series of diagonal lines. You can hear the wood splintering trying to pop out anyway. You see I'm using my left thumb to generate power and my right hand to guide it. We go that way and that way. You can see they're starting to pop out. Once we've got this first layer of little sections out, it's easier to go deeper and clean up the hole. So this is the critical bit, getting it started. Now once you've got it started, this lot will just flick out. Always be careful at the edges. You don't want anything to tear. You're always working inward into the hole from the edges. Nice little tool I've got here, and just a little ground down needle file turned into a baby chisel. Very handy broken needle files, and if you haven't got any broken needle files you can just break one yourself. Anyhow, that's the general idea. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. I like to go quite deep, especially on this belly side, because the arrow is going to be chafing here, and if I need to relieve the wood slightly just to make the arrows sit nicely, I might need to go a bit deeper. That's part of the final sort of fettling of a bow. You see where the arrow's rubbing on the bow and you just blend it to sit nicely. Of course this is relatively easy because it's nice soft yew. Other woods can be a lot harder. I did one for a mate on his horse bow and it was some exotic hardwood. Absolute nightmare. Took me ages. It was one of those jobs I wish I'd never volunteered for. Right, we're ready really to try the bit of horn in to see how it fits. Once I've gone in a bit, I can push the horn into that front point and then carefully score round the back edge. Sometimes I do it with the pencil, sometimes I'll just do it with the tip of the knife blade. Lift out the horn, then I can see where I've got to cut. There, I've reversed the bow so I can work better this way round. Then she should be ready to go. That's it, just put in place and pressed in with thumb pressure. Is I clamp it in the vise like that with the clean face of the bow supported on the cork jaw. I give it a good squeeze. You can see the glue coming out there. Make sure it's pressed fully home. So I'll ease it off now, wipe off the excess glue and then clamp it back up. We blend it in on a nice curve to match the side of the bow. You can see that's going to look really handsome. I've just given it a quick buff on the wheel so you can see the finished effect. I like the way the streak of white lines up nicely with the heartwood sapwood. Just that little attention to detail when you position it. You think, well, wouldn't it be nice if that point was right on the line? And you know you've got a streak in the middle. Sometimes it works out pretty, sometimes it doesn't. But, oh, beautiful. The bow's had its first wipe of Danish oil and you can see it really brings up the colour rather nicely. The other good thing is it shows up any tool marks. That's looking down the back of the bow. One edge of the bow. Belly of the bow. Yeah, it's got a whisker of set, but not a lot.